for your review. The first two questions tell you to write the polynomial as a product of factors. You have to keep in mind with these, you have an x to the fourth power, so when you separate at first, it's going to be x squared plus or minus a number times x squared plus or minus a number. That first question, number 1, you have f of x is equal to x to the fourth power plus 5x squared minus 126. You got to find the factors of negative 126 that add up to be 5. So if we start with 1, we have 1 and 126, 2 and 63, 3 and 42, 4 does not go into it evenly, 5 does not go into it evenly, 6 goes in 21 times, 7 does not go into, does it? 7 goes into 12 once with 5, 56, 7 goes in 18 times. Is that what it was? So then from there you have 9 and 14. If the 14 is positive and the 9 is negative, that's what's going to give you that 5. So this factors to give you x squared minus 9 times x squared plus 14. And remember, this is still equal to f of x. From here, that x squared minus 9 is a difference of squares, so you need to factor that out fully. You have f of x is equal to x minus 3 times x plus 3 for that x squared minus 9. The x squared plus 14 is not a difference of squares, and you cannot factor that out fully, so you're going to leave it as the x squared plus 14. For number 2, you have f of x is equal to x to the fourth power plus x squared minus 12. Your factors of negative 12 that add to be positive 1 are 4 and negative 3. So this is going to factor to give you f of x is equal to x squared plus 4 times x squared minus 3. You cannot factor this any further because you do not have any difference of squares here, so that is your answer. If we look at our next set of examples, it tells us to find all of the zeros. For number 3, we have f of x is equal to x to the fourth power minus 3x squared, or sorry, 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 12x minus 8. Your factors of that negative 8 are plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4, and plus or minus 8. If we start with 1 and we use synthetic division, you're going to have 1, negative 3, negative 2, 12, and negative 8 on the inside. Your 1 drops down, times 1 is 1, minus 3 is negative 2, times 1 is negative 2, that's negative 4, times 1 is negative 4, 12 minus 4 is 8, times 1 is 8, minus 8 gives us 0. So that 1 is a solution. From here, we have a constant of 8, an x of negative 4, an x squared of negative 2, and an x cubed of 1. So now we have to solve x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 8 is equal to 0. You can factor this by grouping. So we're going to group the first two, group the last two, factor out an x squared from the first, a negative 4 from the second. That's going to leave us with x squared times x minus 2 minus 4 times x minus 2 is equal to 0. Two sets of parentheses are identical, so we're going to rewrite this as x minus 2 times x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. Next, we are going to factor the x squared minus 4 to factor it completely, and that's going to give us x minus 2 times x minus 2 times x plus 2 is equal to 0. So if we set all of these equal to 0 and we solve, oops. So we're going to add the 2 over. We get x is equal to 2. Same thing with this one. For the x plus 2, we're going to get x is equal to negative 2. So if you look at all of your solutions, you have the x is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, x is equal to 2, and x is equal to negative 2, not x minus 2. So hold on, there we go. There we go. So in your answer, you have that x is equal to 1, 2, 2, and negative 2. For number 4, you're given f of x, or 0, is equal to x cubed plus 11x squared plus 23x minus 35. Your factors of that negative 35 are plus or minus 1, plus or minus 5, plus or minus 7, and plus or minus 35. If we start with 1, you're going to have 1, 11, 23, and negative 35 on the inside. Your 1 drops down, times 1 is 1, plus 11 is 12, times 1 is 12, plus 23 gives us 35, times 1 is 35. We subtract 35 from that, and that gives us 0. So that 1 is a solution. Put it out so that we remember to include it. This means that your constant is 35. 12 is going to get an x. 1 gets x squared. So now you are solving x squared plus 12x plus 35 is equal to 0. Your factors of 35 that add up to be 12 are 5 and 7. So that means this factors to be x plus 5 times x plus 7 is equal to 0. If we set each part equal to 0 and we solve, we move the 5 over by subtracting it, and we get x is equal to negative 5. We move the 7 over by subtracting it, and we get that x is equal to negative 7. So look at all of your answers. You have 3 of them. You have that x is equal to 1, x is equal to negative 5, and x is equal to negative 7. For the next question, it tells you to find the polynomial with the given zeros. You'll have 2 questions like this tomorrow. One that has 3 zeros, one that has 4 zeros, just like you do in your review. So for number 5, you're given that x is equal to negative 4, x is equal to negative 2, x is equal to 0, and x is equal to 1. If we move that negative 4 over, we add it to both sides. That's going to give us the binomial x plus 4. If we move the 2 over, we add it to both sides. That gives us x plus 2. The x is equal to 0. That's just x, so we can put that out front. So we're just going to distribute that in. And then that x is equal to 1. We subtract the 1 over, and we get x minus 1. So now from here, we're going to FOIL, distribute, and then multiply completely. I'm going to start with FOILing the last 2 and distributing the x into the x plus 4. That's going to give us x squared plus 4x times x squared minus x plus 2x minus 2. We combine like terms in the second set of parentheses, and we're really multiplying x squared plus 4x times x squared plus x minus 2. We're going to start by distributing the x squared into that trinomial. That's going to give us x to the 4th power plus x cubed minus 2x squared. Then we distribute the 4x in. That leaves us with positive 4x cubed plus 4x squared minus 8x. From here, we're just combining like terms. So that's going to give us x to the 4th power. You have an x cubed plus 4x cubed, which is 5x cubed, minus 2x plus 4x is positive 2x squared, and then the negative 8x. So that just gives us x to the 4th power plus 5x cubed plus 2x squared minus 8x. For number 6, you have x is equal to 5, x is equal to 6, and x is equal to negative 2. For the 5, we're going to subtract it over. We get x minus 5. For the 6, we subtract it over. We get x minus 6. For the 2, we add it over, or the negative 2, we add it over. We get x plus 2. I like working with the back 2 before I do the first 2, so I'm going to multiply the x minus 6 by the x plus 2, which means that x minus 5 is going to stay x minus 5. That's going to then multiply by x squared plus 2x minus 6x minus 12. We have like terms. We combine the 2x and the negative 6x to get x minus 5 times x squared minus 4x minus 12. From here, we're going to start by distributing the x in from the x minus 5, then distribute the negative 5 in from that binomial, and then combine like terms. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times negative 4x is negative 4x squared. X times negative 12 is negative 12x. The negative 5 times x squared goes next. That's going to give you negative 5x squared. Negative 5 times negative 4x is positive 20x. And negative 5 times negative 12 is positive 60. From here, combine your like terms. Drop down that x cubed. The negative 4x squared minus 5x squared is negative 9x squared. The negative 12x plus 20x is positive 8x. And then that 60 drops down. So you have x cubed minus 9x squared plus 8x plus 60. For 7 and 8, you are using synthetic division in order to divide. Remember with these, that binomial, you're going to set it equal to 0 and solve for what x is from there. When you do that, that number that you get for what x is, you're going to put it on the outside of your synthetic division, then use your coefficients and the constants from the polynomial for the inside. Remember, if you're missing a power, you have to add in a 0x to that power to represent it. Even if you're missing your constant, you got to add in a 0. For number 7, it gives you x to the 4th power minus 6x cubed plus 11x squared minus 8x minus 15 divided by x minus 4. If you set that x minus 4 equal to 0 and you add the 4 over, you get that x is equal to 4. So on the outside, we're going to have that 4. On the inside, we're going to have 1, negative 6, 11, negative 8, and negative 15. All of our powers are represented from highest to lowest, which is why we're not adding in a 0 anywhere. That 1 drops down, times 4 is positive 4. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2, times 4 is negative 8. 11 minus 8 gives us 3, times 4 is 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16, minus 15 is 1. So to figure out what's what from here, starting from the far right, that 1 is your remainder, 4 is your constant, 3 is going to get x, negative 2 gets x squared, 1 gets x cubed. So your answer is x cubed minus 2x squared plus 3x plus 4 plus 1 over what you divided by, which is x minus 4. For number 8, you have x cubed plus 5x squared plus 8x plus 6 divided by x plus 3. If we set that x plus 3 equal to 0 and subtract the 3 over, you get x is equal to negative 3. So outside goes that negative 3. Inside, you're going to have 1, 5, 8, and 6. Again, we're not missing a power, so you just write those numbers down like you see them. 1 drops down, times negative 3 is negative 3. 5 minus 3 is 2, times negative 3 is negative 6. 8 minus 6 is 2, times negative 3 is negative 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. So with this one, your remainder is 0, so you do not need to write that down. However, to the left of that 2 is your constant. To the left of that, 2 gets an x, and the 1 gets x squared. So your answer for this one is just x squared plus 2x plus 2. For 9 and 10, we are using long division in order to divide. For 9, we have 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 9x plus 11 divided by x plus 3. All of our powers are represented, so we're going to put that x plus 3 on the outside. On the inside, we're going to have 3x cubed plus the 4x squared minus 9x plus 11. Your x on the outside multiplies by 3x squared to get 3x cubed. Multiply that 3x squared by 3. That gives you 9x squared. From here, we subtract, distribute the negative, change the sign on everything. The 4x squared minus 9x squared gives us negative 5x squared. We drop down that negative 9x. From here, the x on the outside multiplies by negative 5x to give you negative 5x squared. Multiply that negative 5x by the 3. That's negative 15x. And subtract these two. Distribute your negative. Change the sign on everything. Your 5x squareds cancel because they're opposites. 15x minus 9x gives us 6x. And then we drop down that 1, that 11, which is your next term. From here, x times positive 6 gives you 6x. The 6 times 3 is 18. You subtract the two binomials, distribute the sign, change it, and then you have 11 minus 18, which is negative 7. That negative 7 is your remainder, so when you write your answer, you have 3x squared minus 5x plus 6 plus negative 7 over x plus 3. For number 10, you have 2x cubed plus 4x minus 9 divided by x plus 5. Now this one is missing the power of 2. So you have to add in that second power by adding in a 0x squared. So when you write this, the x plus 5 is going to go on the outside. On the inside, you're going to have 2x cubed plus 0x squared, because you were missing that, plus 4x minus 9. The x on the outside multiplies by 2x squared to get 2x cubed. That also multiplies by the 5, and you have 10x squared. Subtract these. Distribute your sign. You're left with negative 10x squared. Drop down that 4x, and then start all over again. The x on the outside multiplies by negative 10x to get you that negative 10x squared. The negative 10x also multiplies by the 5 to give you negative 50x. Subtract these. Distribute your sign. Change it on everything. 10x squareds cancel. The 4x plus 50x is 54x. Drop down that negative 9. And then start all over again. X times 54 is 54x. 54 times 5, the 4 times 5 is 20. The 5 times 5 plus 2 is 27, and that's going to be positive. From here, subtract, distribute your sign, and you're left with negative 279. That negative 279 is your remainder. So your answer for this one is 2x squared minus 10x plus 54. If you want to put the negative here, you can. And then the 279 up top over what you divided by, which is x plus 5. The last two questions, it tells you to use synthetic division and the remainder theorem to solve for each of the following. This gives you the number that you're going to put on the outside. Use your synthetic division. Whatever your remainder is, that is your answer. So for number 11, it gives you p of x is equal to 3x to the 4th power minus 9x squared plus 16x minus 8. You're finding p of negative 2. Since you're missing the x to the 3rd, you're going to add in the 0x cubed. And then that's going to give you negative 2 on the outside. Inside, you're going to have 3, then 0, negative 2, or negative 9, 16, and negative 8. So your 3 drops down. Times negative 2 is negative 6. 0 minus 6 is negative 6. Times 2 is 12. Minus 9 is 3. Times negative 2 is negative 6. 16 minus 6 is 10. Times negative 2 is negative 20. Minus 8 is negative 28. Again, your remainder, which is that negative 28, is your answer. So p of negative 2 is equal to negative 28. For 12, you have p of x is equal to 5x cubed minus 17x squared minus 19x minus 34. You're finding p of 4. So 4 we're going to put on the outside. On the inside, you have 5, negative 17, negative 19, and negative 34. 5 drops down, times 4 gives us 20, minus 17 is 3, times 4 is 12. That's going to give you negative 7. Then you multiply that by the 4, that's negative 28. Same sign, keep the sign, add the numbers. The 4 and 8 is 12, carry the 1. 3 and 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So now your remainder is negative 62. So P of 4 is negative 62.